Ancient healers fasted, not because food was scarce, not as punishment, not as a spiritual performance. They fasted because they understood something about the human body that modern medicine has only recently confirmed with precision. When you stop feeding the body, something extraordinary begins. In ancient Ayurvedic medicine, fasting was called langhana, the lightening. Physicians prescribed it as the most powerful single intervention available for almost any condition involving excess, stagnation, or accumulated toxicity in the body. Ancient Chinese physicians prescribed periodic fasting as part of seasonal health maintenance, observing that the body, given a break from the work of digestion, directed its resources toward repair and renewal with a speed and thoroughness that no medicine could replicate. Ancient Greek physicians, including Hippocrates and Pythagoras, both fasted regularly and prescribed fasting to patients. Hippocrates wrote that the body heals itself when it is not constantly occupied with eating. He was describing autophagy, a cellular self-cleaning process that was not formally discovered until 2016, when its discoverer received the Nobel Prize in medicine. Today, I am going to take you through exactly what happens inside your body during a 24-hour fast, hour by hour, system by system. From the moment you stop eating to the extraordinary repair processes that ancient healers observed and modern science has now mapped in precise biochemical detail. The first 4 hours, the body finishes digesting. In the first 4 hours after your last meal, the body is still processing what you ate. Blood glucose rises from digestion and then falls as cells absorb the glucose and insulin clears it from the bloodstream. Nothing unusual is happening yet. The body is completing its normal post-meal work. By hour 4, blood glucose has returned to baseline, insulin levels are falling, and the body is beginning to shift its attention from processing the last meal toward accessing stored energy. This is the beginning of the transition. Hours 4 to 8. Insulin falls and fat burning begins. As insulin levels continue to fall in the absence of incoming food, the body begins to switch its primary fuel source. Cells that were running on dietary glucose begin to draw on glycogen, the glucose stores kept in the liver and muscles for between-meal energy. The liver glycogen stores typically last 6 to 8 hours of normal activity. Simultaneously, as insulin falls to its lowest normal levels, fat cells begin to release stored fatty acids into the bloodstream for fuel. This is what ancient healers observed as the body beginning to consume its own excess. Not the muscle and vital tissue, but the stored fat that the body had set aside for exactly this purpose. Ancient Ayurvedic physicians described this phase as Agni beginning to consume Ama, the digestive fire beginning to burn the accumulated waste and excess that had been stored in the body. Their metaphor was biochemically accurate. The liver is beginning to produce ketones, the fuel molecules derived from fat, that will increasingly power the brain and the body as the fast continues. Hours 8 to 16. Ketosis begins and autophagy awakens. By hour 12 to 16, liver glycogen is largely depleted and the body has fully shifted into fat-burning mode. Ketone production is increasing. Blood ketone levels are rising, and something extraordinary is beginning at the cellular level. Autophagy, the cellular self-cleaning process that Yoshinori Ohsumi discovered and described in work that won the Nobel Prize, is activating throughout the body. Autophagy is the process by which cells identify and break down their own damaged components, misfolded proteins, dysfunctional organelles, the cellular debris that accumulates from normal metabolism and aging. Under normal fed conditions, autophagy operates at a low background level. Under fasting conditions, as insulin falls and nutrient sensors inside cells detect the absence of incoming nutrients, autophagy accelerates dramatically. The body begins cleaning itself at the cellular level in a way that no supplement, no herb, and no medication can replicate. Ancient healers observed the outward signs of this process without knowing the mechanism. They called it the body consuming its own impurities, describing exactly what autophagy does. Hours 16 to 24, deep repair and renewal. In the second half of a 24-hour fast, the body is operating in a fundamentally different mode from its normal fed state. Growth hormone levels surge. During fasting, growth hormone secretion increases by up to 5 times its fed state level. Growth hormone drives the repair of muscle tissue, the maintenance of lean body mass, and the regeneration of multiple organ systems. The body is not breaking down muscle during a 24-hour fast. It is protecting it and actively repairing it under the direction of elevated growth hormone. Brain function often improves dramatically during this phase. Ketones, the brain's alternative fuel, are now the primary energy source for neurons. Many people report a clarity of thought, a sharpness of focus, and a calmness of mind during extended fasting that they do not experience in the fed state. Ancient Greek philosophers and sages fasted regularly before periods of important thinking and teaching, observing that the fasted mind was more capable of sustained, clear thought than the fed mind. Anti-inflammatory markers in the blood decrease significantly. The reduction in insulin, the fall in blood glucose, and the suppression of the mTOR pathway, the cellular growth switch that drives inflammatory signaling, create an anti-inflammatory state that researchers have measured with blood tests showing reduced levels of IL-6, TNF-alpha, and C-reactive protein. The same inflammatory markers that drive chronic disease fall measurably during a 24-hour fast. The gut gets a complete rest. The digestive system, which under normal conditions is in almost constant operation, shuts down its active work and directs resources toward repair of the intestinal lining. The tight junctions between intestinal cells, which when compromised produce the condition known as leaky gut, are reinforced. The gut microbiome, freed from the constant input of food, undergoes a selective rebalancing. Ancient Ayurvedic physicians prescribed a specific type of fast they called upavasa, complete rest from food, specifically for patients with digestive conditions, inflammatory diseases, and what they called ama accumulation. They observed that patients who completed a full day of upavasa showed improvement in digestion, reduction in inflammatory conditions, and a clarity of mind and body that they could observe and measure by their clinical standards. They did not know about autophagy, growth hormone surges, or anti-inflammatory cytokine reduction. They watched their patients and recorded what they saw. And what they saw was accurate in every detail that modern biochemistry has since confirmed. How to do a 24-hour fast correctly. Finish eating at dinner one evening. The following evening, approximately 24 hours later, eat again. During the fast, drink water freely. Herbal teas without sweetener are acceptable. Black coffee without milk or sugar is acceptable for those who use it, though ancient healers would not have had access to it. The most important preparation is mental. Most people who attempt their first 24-hour fast discover that they are not actually hungry. They are simply habitual. The feelings that arise are the feelings of habit being interrupted, not of the body being in danger. Ancient physicians trained their patients to distinguish between true hunger, the body's genuine need, and habitual hunger, the mind's expectation of food at its usual times. Break the fast gently. not with a large meal, with something warm, light, and easily digestible, warm broth, a small amount of cooked vegetable, or warm water with a little raw honey. The digestive system has been resting. Give it time to return to work gradually, once a week, every week. That is what ancient healers prescribed, not a periodic extreme, a consistent weekly practice. The body's repair systems respond to regular activation. A 24-hour fast once weekly produces compounding benefits over months and years that a single long fast cannot replicate. Ancient healers called fasting the medicine that costs nothing, the medicine that the body administers to itself. They were right. If this found you at the right moment, share it with one person whose body needs this repair. They may not know that the most powerful medicine available to them requires no prescription and no purchase. Subscribe to Ancient Body Wisdom and come back every single week. There is so much more the healers knew, and we are only just beginning.